Omande share mema munyina akwa abadeba Kantona TV so. Sene Kantona TV ahye mobo. Se mbene abrenya nsem bi yedi candidate no Kantona TV mama muso nsi yebebo wura nsem no yede nsem no batumanu sa pepe ne eno. Na de cheche dwumade bi akoso e Afisah Hotel e Nkrampopuni mantem ha. Ne nyina ne se eya na obia e kasa oman ni mu ayeden. Enti eya na nipa bebre no ayo madwempo se so munyampo a ombefri oman mu akwakobo mo hodwa wo man foforo so. Enti aban ebi mu nso afa bronya ho awe nkokọ mo nso ayo mo agent a omo keka say oh ebetime do akọ amorane mo akọ ya adwuma apesika puchu agu butom na o say ema yeni da ho yie pa san say nipa dodo na de sa ombefa o de kwa na omo akọ ton wo amanfoforo so na sabio yetimi akọ twitwa o part baabi na asem so omdo akọje omsika na wan ma woni anda ho na so befa wa ebetwa oti ama ekomado yam sa adwumadi ekoso wa Afisah Hotel a mran panifo ekasa na say na omde to nsentrefo anim.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me highlight that the Ghana Immigration Service is very committed to providing migrants, whether potential or returned migrants, with reliable information on how to travel safely by providing relevant information in relation to the complexities and dangers of irregular migration. The capacity of officers have been put on issues of human trafficking and irregular migration right at the entry levels. In-service trainings are offered to serving officers at various levels in their career progression. In the area of protection, the Immigration Service identifies, intercepts, and rescues victims of human trafficking. We also provide victims with the immediate needs and refer them to shelters for support. Prosecution is also another tool in fighting human trafficking, and that is carried out in collaboration with other law enforcement agencies. Trafficking in persons, being a transnational organized crime, requires the adoption of a collaborative strategy and partnership among agencies and countries in information sharing. Today, we have most of our partners in this room, and the Ghana Immigration Service appreciates the immense support received from all such collaborations. In conclusion, I would like to admonish all participants to take this training very seriously and implement what they have gained here in their daily work routines. Thank you so much, and God bless us all.
And I stand here on behalf of him and the Ghana Police Service to make this statement. The issue of human trafficking has affected every country in the world. And Ghana is no exception. In fact, Ghana, unfortunately, is a source, transit, and destination country for human trafficking, for the purposes of forced labor and commercial sex exploitation primarily. Trafficking within the country is more prevalent than transnational trafficking, and majority of the victims, unfortunately, are women and children. As the lead agency in the enforcement of laws in Ghana, the Ghana Police Service, through the Criminal Investigation Department, has established the Anti-Human Trafficking Unit. The establishment of this unit immediately followed the promulgation of the Human Trafficking Act. And the unit was established specifically to deal with cases of human trafficking and to provide assistance for rescued victims. Currently, the unit is replicated in 11 out of the 18 police regions, with 35 desks established across trafficking-prone areas to deal with the menace of trafficking. Ladies and gentlemen, police, in collaboration with other stakeholders, have embarked on a rigorous rescue operation to rescue victims who undergo exploitation across the borders of Ghana. The unit has also embarked on sensitization programs to educate the public on the modus operandi of perpetrators at media platforms, marketplaces, churches, etc., etc. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2017, the Criminal Investigations Department, through the Anti-Human Trafficking Unit, developed a strategic plan known as the 4P strategy, in line with the National Plan of Action Against Trafficking, to address challenges which undermine the operational efficiency of the unit to deal with trafficking. This plan has successfully led to the identification and rescue of victims, as well as the arrest and prosecution of perpetrators, some of whom have suffered court sentences ranging from 5 to 18 years. This, in no doubt, together with the efforts of other stakeholders, some of whom are here, has improved the global ranking of Ghana from Tier 2 watch list in 2018 to Tier 2 up to date. And we need to all commend ourselves for this very important achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, the Criminal Investigations Department, in its efforts to prevent the commission of the offense, has since 2016 deployed officers from the Human Trafficking Unit to the clearance section at the CID. The CID has a clearance section where when people are traveling outside the country, they come to do criminal background checks. So what we have done is to deploy officers there to intercept unsuspecting victims and to advise them accordingly about the risk. If we identify people whom we believe are potential victims of human trafficking, they are advised, and it has been successful to prevent some of these people from being trafficked. The unit, with also support from the International Organization for Migration, has developed a curriculum being used throughout all our police training schools. Also, during promotional courses, human trafficking is being taught as one of the subjects to equip personnel. Primarily, we are doing this to ensure that every police officer has some capacity building relative to the appreciation of human trafficking and how to deal with such cases when they encounter them. It is also important to highlight that through the ministry, the Criminal Investigations Department, with support from other development partners, have been conducting periodic capacity building programs for police officers, particularly of the Anti-Human Trafficking Unit and the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit, to enable them to prevent, detect, and investigate crime successfully. I believe this platform is one such an opportunity for us to improve upon our capacity in the area to fight this cancer. At this juncture, I would like to use this opportunity to thank the Ministry for Gender, Children and Social Protection, as well as the European Union and Expertise Finance for sponsoring this program. And to you, the participants, I will urge you to leverage the networks here and to share information so that together we can nip this canker in the bud. Thank you very much.
Standing on existing. It gives me great joy to discuss a very critical issue confronting our society, which is also a global monster, human trafficking, as we all know. The head of the Human Trafficking Secretariat earlier explained the reason why we have gathered here. Human trafficking is an organized crime, and this phenomenon is recognized as a global challenge, affecting millions of people, including women and children, hampering their fundamental rights and freedom. The modus operandi of the perpetrators of this heinous crime against humanity is through the recruitment, transportation, harboring, and receipt of victims. The main purpose is for a financial gain and exploitation. Exploitation takes the form of debt bondage, organ harvesting, prostitution, of sexual exploitation, forced labor, and psychological abuse of victims. Ladies and gentlemen, traffickers have now devised new modus operandi to lure their victims. These victims are either forced, deceived, or coerced for the purpose of several forms of exploitation, including cyber fraud. They are scammed and recruited to engage in the QNet business, which is a blend of cyber fraud, forced labor exploitation, and the act of trafficking, as we all know. Let me kindly call on the Inspector General of Police to equip the anti-human trafficking units and the Cybercrime Office to work on this menace, which is springing up everywhere. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our friends from the media, we are also confronted with a situation where our young girls migrate to the Gulf countries in search of greener pastures, and they are trafficked, molested, abused, and exploited. Majority of these migrants are recruited by unlicensed and unscrupulous recruitment agencies who deceive and coerce them to embark on such journeys. We all saw the number of young girls that had returned and airlifted back to Ghana from the Gulf countries, mainly Lebanon, yet the majority have gone back to the same country. I am highly elated that the Controller General himself is here. His representative is here today to help us tighten up all the loose ends at our borders, especially the land and the air borders. And it is important for every Ghanaian to be vigilant and be part of the fight by reporting any suspected case to the law enforcement agencies for investigations. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the issue of child begging on the streets, coupled with individuals using babies to beg, pretending these babies need help, is another plight we are dealing with. And I am reliably informed some are scammers and traffic victims. This I know the Executive Director for YOCO dealt with some, and we hope they will continue this action to enable us protect our children. Madam, we are very grateful for the great work you do. As you may have observed through some collaborative efforts, the Nigerians who were on our streets are no more there. And this was as a result of a collaborative effort with the Nigerian government and the government of Ghana. Institutional mechanisms and staff capacity to combat human trafficking are important. It is for this reason that the Anti-Human Trafficking Unit in the Ghana Police Service and the Economic and Organized Crime Office, Anti-Human Smuggling and Trafficking in Persons Units in the Ghana Immigration Service, and the Human Trafficking Desk Officers in the Attorney General's Department, the prosecution section, were created. Since we have our top management present today, let me use this opportunity to express our profound appreciation to these units and the heads of the units for their immense support, and we recommend that they are supported in diverse ways to make this work easy for us all. As a way forward, distinguished guests, we hope to C desk offices with offices open in the districts and the regional offices as functional to enable the anti-human trafficking units function effectively to reduce the number of cases that are brought to the headquarters to be prosecuted. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in 2021, we had 831 victims, and these victims were rescued, as we now have 2 government shelters that have facilitated these improvements in the process. In all, 87 cases were reported and investigated by our law enforcement officials. 32 cases were prosecuted, involving 37 individuals. 13 convictions gained for human trafficking, 9 for child labor, and 10 for other related offenses. 14 individuals were charged and convicted for child labor exploitation, whilst 13 individual defendants were charged with human trafficking offenses and jailed between 5 and 7 years in prison. There have been significant improvements since 2017, when we had only 4 convictions. Let me use this opportunity to appreciate our law enforcement officers and agencies for the great work being done, and to the government of Ghana for the operationalization of the Human Trafficking Fund under the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. In terms of victim protection, the government increased the Human Trafficking Fund from 500,000 to 1 million in 2019, which is a 100% increase, and continues to budget for the Human Trafficking Fund. The adult shelter, since its operationalization on 1st February 2019, has received over 153 rescue clients and have been rehabilitated and reintegrated into their communities. Ladies and gentlemen, the children's shelter was also operationalized in August 2020 and has already rehabilitated over 70 child victims. The ministry has 4 psychologists managing these shelters to ensure our clients get the best support that they need. This depicts that government is making great efforts to combat human trafficking in Ghana. However, despite all these interventions and investments, Ghana still has a sizable number of trafficking cases to grapple with. The actual figures we might not know due to the dark side of trafficking as a business. Due to this, I call on all stakeholders to come together to support and fight against human trafficking